Hello parents of St John's, this is my first parent help video and I'm going to be talking about phonics today. I'm going to do this video in 3 sections where I'm going to go over terminology, so any of the words that teachers use or the children might use and you think I'm not sure what those mean, I'll go through that. I'm going to go through the set 1, set 2, set 3 sounds, what that means, what your child's learning, and I'm also going to go over green words and red words. If your child is in nursery, reception or year 1, they will be learning phonics every single day at school and they'll be having about a 20-minute slot. It ranges, in nursery it will be less, where it's just focus on learning sounds and how the sounds build up to help us read words and to help us spell words. So that's basically what phonics is. It's a way of teaching your child to read. That's not how I learnt to read at school, so I'm assuming that lots of you did not learn to read that way at school. So I thought I'd give you this help video just so you can get your head around it a little bit more. The reason I'm doing my video in 3 sections is so if you don't want to listen to the whole video, there's just a certain part you want to listen to, you can use the bar across the bottom of the video to skip to the bit that you want, because I know you're very busy, I know you've got lots of children at home that you're trying to homeschool, I understand it's a stressful time. So the first bit I'm going to go through is the terminology. So in phonics you might hear teachers talking about phonemes. Phonemes just means the sounds that letters can make, okay? Just remember phoneme, phone, you're listening to something, it's the sound. You also might hear the word grapheme. Grapheme, it means the way that the sound is written down on a page. Okay, so we've got the phoneme, the sound, and we've got grapheme, how it's written. You also might hear teachers or the children say things like a digraph. A digraph could be something like, let me find my cards, like this, where there's 2 letters, an A and a Y, which make together the A sound. So digraph means 2 letters that make 1 sound when they're together. So we'd call this the A sound. Okay, so digraph, 2 letters, 1 sound. You might hear the word trigraph. Trigraph, try 3. So that means 3 letters, 1 sound. So here you've got an I, G, I, G, H, which makes the I sound. Those 3 letters together make I, as in the words high. Okay, so we've got 3 letters that make 1 sound. We call that a trigraph. Then we have something called a split digraph, which looks like this. This is where a letter would kind of jump in the middle here, but this makes a sound that's split by the letter in between, and it's called a split digraph because it is just the 2 letters that are split up rather than 3, and it has this little kind of arch over the top or sometimes kind of underneath the letters to show that those sounds go together. This is the sound I, so we say I, nice, smile. And basically what a split digraph is it's turning the I sound here, where it would be an I on its own, adding in this E, which you can call magic E, and turning the I into a long vowel sound, and we'd say I. I'm going to leave some video links underneath this video, and they're links to alpha blocks which your children might watch at home, but they're designed for you as parents to see a little bit more about what we mean by phonics and digraphs and trigraphs and split digraphs and those sorts of things. So that's a little bit about the terminology. We follow a scheme at St John's called Read, Write, Ink, and the logo looks like this. So there's lots of different ways that you can teach phonics at school. You can do letters and sounds, but we do Read, Write, Ink. And the reason we do that is because it's quite interactive. It's got lots of rhymes that go with the sounds, which really helps our children. These cards that go with all of the phonics teaching that we do are brilliant, because on one side of the card, it's got the just the sound on its own, and then on the other side it's got the picture and the rhyme that goes with it. Okay, so they're really, really good, and you can buy these on Amazon, these flashcards. All you have to search is Read Write Ink phonics flashcards, and they'll come up. They're only about £5 each. Okay, and they come in the set 2 and set 3 cards, which look like this in the orange box, and you can also get the set 1 cards, which come in the purple box. So together they're under £10 if you wanted to buy them. There's no need to, but I'm just giving you the option if it's something that you're interested in. So that leads me nicely on to set 1, set 2 and set 3. What do I mean by that? So we break the sounds up into manageable groups, and in early years, which is nursery and reception, the children will start with set 1 sounds, and they're mainly 1 letter, 1 sound. So that's when your child will learn things like s, and then it makes the s sound. Okay, so it's usually just 1 letter, 1 sound that you would find in the set 1 pack. Obviously there's quite a lot of them. Now this is the pack that you can buy off Amazon, and it is really good because it teaches you as a parent just a little bit more information about how to use these flashcards. It teaches you about the different words and how you word build using the set 1 sounds as well. So it's got lots of hints and tips, so I think they're really good. In set 1, the children learn that some sounds are stretchy and some sounds are bouncy. So a stretchy sound would be something like a s, that is a continuous sound, but a bouncy sound would be something like d, 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 where you can kind of hear the bounce in the sound. These cards again are really good because it tells you whether it's a bouncy or a stretchy sound in the pack. So that's why we use those. On the back of these cards, there's less of a rhyme and more of a little word that we use to help with the sound. And the word always starts with the sound that you're focusing on. So this, you'd say d, 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 dinosaur, and there's a picture of a dinosaur. We use the picture to help teach the children how to write that sound, so to teach them the grapheme. So for this, it's something like down the dinosaur's neck, round his body, round his tail, and do a flick for his claws. Something along those lines. That was off the top of my head. I can't remember it exactly, but that's the kind of thing that we'd say to help the child form the letter. So they're going from reading a sound to writing a sound down on a piece of paper on a whiteboard. So that's a little bit about the sets. So set 1, you start with 1 letter, 1 sound, but the children do learn ch as well towards the end, which would be a digraph because it's 2 letters, 1 sound. Then the children go on to the set 2 sounds, where there's a lot more of a focus on digraphs, where there's 2 letters that make 1 sound. So A, O, goat in a boat, A, snail in the rain, that sort of thing. And then in set 3, children learn lots about these split digraphs, split sounds. They also learn that there's lots of different ways to make 1 sound, and I'm going to do another video about that, so don't worry. We aim at St John's for all children to be confident in all of the sounds, so set 1, set 2 and set 3 by the end of year 1, because at the end of the year 1 the children have something called a phonics screening check, and you can read about it on the internet, and there's practice ones that if you wanted to Google it, phonics screening check, and it's a little test that the government tell schools that they have to do. So it's a statutory test that all children sit at the end of year 1, and it's a little assessment that the child does with a teacher. The child doesn't know it's a test. They're used to reading these words all the time, so they won't even know that they've done a little assessment, a little test. And it's where the children have to read alien words, so made up words that will have all the sounds that they should know by the end of year 1. There's 40 words that the children have to read, and the teacher that they do it with will just tick off whether they could read the word or not, and your child will get a score out of 40. We get told the pass marks, or whether your child has passed, after the test has been done, but we usually say 35-ish, and we'd say that a child has passed is what we like to go with, but we don't know until after the test. So that's a little bit more about set 1, set 2 and set 3 sounds. Then the last thing I'm going to talk about is green and red words. So when we teach phonics in school, we have a little puppet that's a frog, and this frog is called Fred, and he's so important when children are learning phonics. They learn the sounds, the phonemes, but then they have to learn that building those phonemes together means that you can build a word and read a word. So Fred is a puppet that we use, and he'll only speak to us in sounds. So we do a little bit of fun where he whispers in our ears and things, and he'll say some sounds that the children then have to count on their fingers, which we call segmenting, which means breaking up the word into its individual sounds, its phonemes, and then they blend it together so that they can eventually say the word. So it would be something like this. P, L, A. So what I've done there is I've segmented it by saying just the sounds P, L, A, really clearly, and as I'm doing it I'm counting on my fingers, which we call Fred fingers, counting on my Fred fingers each sound that Fred has told me, so each phoneme in that word. That's the segmenting bit, breaking it down. P, L, A. I'd say that a few times and get the children to count, and we'd get a little bit quicker. P, L, A, P, L, A, and then the children can blend it together, and when we blend it together we go like that and push our fingers forwards to show that we've blended it. I'll demonstrate that now. P, L, A, play, and the children blend it together. It can work with all different words, so let's try another one. F, O, N, F, O, N, F, O, N, phone. And the child is just listening, counting the sounds, saying it. That's a really important step to help children when they're doing their own writing to be able to segment and blend as they're trying to write down words. Okay, so that's why we use Fred. Fred helps us with green words. Green words are always words that Fred can help us with. They're always words that we can sound out. Then we have something called red words. Red words can be called a range of things. We call them red words to link with our phonics scheme, read, write, ink, but you might hear them as high frequency words or non-decodable words. That just means words that you can't sound out. They're ones that you just have to know. And there's a little rhyme that we always use. We always say, you can't Fred a red. And we say it to the children over and over again. So there's certain words that you can't Fred, you just have to know. And they're words that we always use, and we do flashcards that are red, and we try, and whenever we're modelling writing, we try and write them in a red pen to just really highlight those to the children. And sometimes if you're reading a phonics book with a child, it will have the red words in red, which is really, really helpful. So it would be a word like the. You can't sound it out. You can't sound it out. It's the. Or it could be a word like other. That O is making an sound, so you can't really sound it out. It could be a word like because. You can't Fred it, you can't sound it out. They're sight words, high frequency words, non-decodable words. The children just have to learn them and know them quickly. So that's a red word. In a phonics session, a child will go through the sounds, which we call the recap. So they'll go through all the flashcards that they know. They'll learn a new sound. They'll have to recognise the new sound. They'll read some green words with Fred. So they're words they can sound out. They've got the new sound in. Then we always recap a bank of red words where we're showing the children some red words, adding in new ones. So they're learning new ones all the time. So by the end of year 2, when kind of phonics finishes completely, if your child's learnt all the sounds and learnt all their red words, that the child knows all of those high frequency words by the end of year 1, year 2, so that they can access lots of different reading books. So I've just gone over terminology, set 1, set 2, set 3, and what I mean by red words and green words. Now I'm planning on next doing some videos where I go through all of the sounds so you can hear what they should sound like. I'm going to do some activities that you can do with your child to help you learn red words, and I'm going to show you what a phonics book is and what an Oxford Reading Tree book is and the difference between those two books. So that's kind of what I'm doing with phonics over the next couple of days and weeks. So if you want to know any more, then do email me. My email is on the introduction video, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. But hopefully this will give you more of an insight into what we do at school and to help you understand a little bit more about phonics. Thank you for listening.